Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34. Today I'm coming back with a video of a mail day that I am really excited about. I'm upgrading my 1980s Topps sets and just wanted to give you guys a little background. So for this video, I wanted to mention real quick before I jump in, another shout out to Tony Black. He gave me this really cool Brian Urlacher scorecard from 2000. It's a rookie card, and in my last video when I opened that up, just such a nice gift from Tony. He had this on a card, a holiday greeting card. I didn't realize it was numbered out of 2000, so this is 632 out of 2000. So I was already really excited about getting that card, but then when I removed it from the holiday greeting card, I got even more excited. So anyway, that's a great card. Tony Black is an awesome YouTuber. He's got a great channel. He's a legend in the community. He's very supportive of other channels as well. So thanks again, Tony. Really appreciate that. Okay, so for this video here, this is very much a video for collectors. And this is kind of highlighting my early days of collecting cards as a kid. I started collecting cards, I think right around 1988 was when I started collecting, but I got the interest in it back in 1987 when my brother was collecting and bought a box of cards. So anyway, when I collected as a kid, I did not think very much about conditions of cards or how to care for them. I would put them in binders, but I was very interactive with my collecting, as were my siblings and our friends. And so I would take them out all the time, and I would sort them by team, by number, by position, by favorite players, all kinds of things. And another thing that we would sometimes do is we would actually play football with the cards. So, like for example, Lyle Alzado could be one of my defensive linemen, and we'd have them on the ground, and we didn't put them in penny sleeves or top loaders or any of those kind of things. But it was a lot of fun. But as a result, the cards were not in the greatest condition. So if we go back, I would say the year that I first started to really care about, taking care of the condition of the cards was 1989. Once I started getting into cards from 1989, I took good care of them. So my cards from 1989 until I stopped collecting around 95 are in really good shape. I took good care of those. But that first year of collecting from 1988, not so much. And so the cards that I collected were hand collated. They're hand collected. That would be from packs, from trades. A lot of cards from my cousins who took even worse care of their cards. And so I was always trying to collect sets, and I would take any card. And so a lot of the cards that I have now are from that era, and they're not in the greatest of shape. So anyway, from 1989 on, it was pretty good. Now, once I started getting back into collecting around 2013 or 14, it was somewhere around there, I did end up getting nicer condition sets of a handful. So for example, and they're raw. I'm showing some graded cards, but the sets that I have are raw sets. But the 1980 set, I have a nice condition set of that, as well as the 1981 set. But I was one card short, and we'll get to that in a minute. That kind of leads to the mail day for now. The other sets that I had that were nice included the 1982. As well as I've purchased a nicer version of the 1987 Topps set as well. However, the other years in the 80s, it was hit or miss. I have some cards that are in really, really nice shape, and other cards not so much. And so back, it's been a little while now, but I make some videos where one of my series is called Show and Tell, where I highlight a specific Topps set that I have, and it kind of does a deep dive into the set, as well as the cards, the history of the players, things like that. And I made one for the 1984 Topps set, and I mentioned my Lyle Alzado card because that was the last card I needed to complete the 1984 set. And there were only two cards that I was missing after quite a while of trying to collect all these sets. And that was the Joe Montana rookie card, which I thought maybe I would never get. And then this Lyle Alzado card. And I was at a card show, I mean, I'm guessing here, maybe 1991, 92, and someone was selling this Lyle Alzado card. And to me, it was like I hit the lottery. I was so excited. I couldn't buy it fast enough. And it was so nice to be able to put that in my binder to be the last card remaining. So I would always leave a space for the cards that I was missing. And just being able to slide that in to the proper spot made my day. It was very, very cool. So from then until now, I had every set from the 80s except 1981. And one of my viewers, who's become a really good friend of mine named Mike, he reached out to me and let me know that he had a handful of Joe Montana cards from back in the day. There was one that he pulled from a pack, and I believe he had 3 others that he purchased for $5 a piece. And he reached out to me and offered to sell me one. And I mentioned in that video, and I'll say it again now, although I purchased the card, it was very much a random act of kindness. It was a very, very generous price, and I really, really appreciated that. And so that was one of my all-time favorite sports card collecting moments, was having Mike reach out to me and offer this card. And so now I have all the sets from the 1980s, including this card, which is now part of my Mount Rushmore of cards. And that was just a real exciting day for me. And I still just love this card. I still can't believe I have it. Really made my day. So anyway, that kind of gets into the focus for this video now, which is that Mike asked if there were any cards that I needed over the years that I didn't have in great condition. And there are plenty of those. And so I wanted to show you guys this. Mike said that would be okay. This right here is a really, really awesome picture of his card collection from back in the day. And if you notice here, there's a lot of stuff. And if you kind of go in a little bit here, 89 tops, 88 tops, 89 Pro Set, you got some of that. But he has stuff right here, 79 tops, 80, 77. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff there. This is kind of a collector's dream when you see stuff like that. And anyway, he reached out to me and we shared some sports card and some collecting stories, and he let me know that he had a lot of cards, and we kind of went back and forth on his history of card collecting and where I'm at with card collecting. He told me some great stories of the past. Really, really cool stuff, very nostalgic type of stuff. And I wanted to share with you guys just a little bit about his story. So I'll mention here a couple of the sets. The 2 sets that I had the biggest difficulty with were the 1986 and 1985 tops. And I'm sure that's true for anyone collecting back in the day. These are very condition sensitive cards. The green border and the black border on these made condition very tough for corners and edges. And so, I definitely, in fact, when I went through to look at how many cards I could use for an upgrade, there were a lot more than I realized. When they're kind of in the binder and just kind of sitting in there and you're not really examining them, it's easy to miss. But holy cow, I had a bunch. So anyway, just to kind of give you a little background with Mike, I know he and his brother both collected a lot, and his dad too, which is just awesome. And so he let me know, that picture I showed you with all those cards, what Mike said was, that those had been in his mom's closet since he graduated college back in 1993. And what he said was, she has casually mentioned over the years, when am I going to have my closet back, right? So kind of wanting to get those out of there. And so Mike and his brother had to go through all of those boxes, because they needed to kind of see whose was whose. And so these had tabs. They were separated by year, and they did some deductive reasoning to see whose cards were whose. And they had cards from the early 70s. Some of those, just like with me in the 80s, some of those cards from the 70s were not taken care of the way they could have been. But he did, when he started collecting again in the 80s, take really good care of his cards from that point on. As you could see from the Joe Montana card, that was in great shape. And so, what he said was, in the mid-1980s, they were well taken care of and were doubles from making completed sets when that was the thing. And that's true. I mean, if you really think about it, in the 80s and 90s, set collecting was a huge thing. Now it's more about the hits and things like that. But set collecting for me is still my passion for collecting, and that was something that he and his brother did as well. This is kind of cool. He said, I probably have at least 4 to 6 complete sets from 1983 to 89. And then he has a 1989 Pro set, which I think all of us have. He said, now I have a ton of doubles from 1981 to 1991. So from 81 to 91 that he needs to deal with. He said most are in order. He has some that are in 5,000 count boxes. And he also said, I pulled my late father's junk wax baseball collection out to take a look at it. That's pretty cool too, to be able to have that. He mentioned that it has his dad's handwriting on it for the the cards that were needed list, and that's really cool to have. And so he's actually looking at potentially selling those, and maybe hooking things up on eBay. But he has a huge collection. Found some awesome cards. For me, that would just be like a collector's dream to just be able to kind of open that up and take a look. And so, if anyone is interested in completing some sets or looking at getting sets in football from basically 1978 all the way to 1990, he could very easily get those for you. So, he's interested in finding good homes for those cards for people who are interested. So of course, if any of you guys are interested in that, feel free to comment in the video below. We can definitely arrange for Mike to get in touch with you if you guys are interested in purchasing some cards and collecting sets or maybe purchasing a set, because I know he has some of those as well. So yeah, definitely reach out in the comments, and either he will see that and reach out to you, or I can arrange for that. But anyway, I have purchased a lot of cards from him right here. There's a lot in here, and I'm really excited about this because this is going to be a great upgrade. One last thing I'll tell you with regards to Mike and his collection. There was one card in particular that really stood out to me that I was real excited for him to get. Okay, so check this out, guys. Look at that. Mean Joe Green rookie card. How great would that be? Yeah, so that's a great find for Mike there, along with so many others that I know he found. But yeah, very, very cool. So let's go ahead and we'll open the box and we'll kind of get into this and see what we got. All right, we've got this smaller one first. All right. All right, so here we go. Hey, Brian, I'm pretty sure this is all I have. Included a few extras for you. Oh, cool. I'm sure you probably already have them, but they need a good home. Very cool. Take care, Mike. Awesome. I'm excited to see that. Okay, so I'll hang on to that one, and we'll also open this. And like I said, there were a lot of cards. I started to feel, in fact, let me mention that. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time to go through this and search out these cards for me. So he basically asked what I needed, and I busted open my old books, and I just went through them page by page and wrote down a list. Some of them were actually quite surprising to me that I didn't have them in better condition considering who they were. All right, very cool. All right, so let's go ahead and take this first one out. Man, bubble mailer, everything, very nice packaging. Thanks so much, buddy. All right, so here's the first one right here. Awesome. Wow. Good job. So this is going to be awesome. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, or I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing every individual card necessarily, but you can already tell just by the look of this that these are in great condition. He's been taking really good care of these. Very, very cool. So here's some 1985 cards, right? And here's a good example of that, right? So some of these cards are really nice for me to get. I had this John Stallworth Hall of Famer. Every corner was white, and it even had a crease down at the bottom. A Donnie Shell. Oh, in fact, I pulled a couple cards out, and this will be a good example for you. Now, I purposely pulled this one out just to show you the worst of the worst. But here is Mike's card that I'm purchasing from him. Look at mine of Marty Lyons. I mean, that is in rough shape. It's kind of scratched. It's got creases and bends, and just looks horrible. So you can just see automatically the upgrade there. Even the photo quality is a lot better. So that right there is a perfect example of the upgrade that I'm having. So much, much better now. Absolutely. And we got, Jacob Eason's, is it his dad or his uncle? Yeah. So these are just some really, really sharp looking cards. Very happy to see these. That's awesome. That's a nice one right there, the rushing leaders with Eric Dickerson. Yeah, that was after his second season where he had the 2,000 yards. And then here's the other example I pulled. You'll see here Darrell Green, one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. And then this is my old copy. So this is one that's just worse for wear for sure. So again, this is a great upgrade for my set when I can do something like that. So I'm very, very happy to see these cards and to know that that I'll be able to have a much nicer set now. This is just great. Hall of Famer Morton Anderson, one of his early cards. Mike Renfro, Jeff Coat, and a couple Bears. Well, a Bear. Dave Finzer, the punter. Mike Ken, who was quite good. All right, awesome. These look great. So again, thank you very much, Mike. I'm excited to get these. Greg Bell, who was a really good running back for a handful of years. Really liked him a lot. So just some sharp looking cards. Now this 85 set, Dave Archer played at Snow College in Utah. The 85 set has the Steve Young card with the Buccaneers, which was kind of his first NFL card. And of course, the great Jerry Rice, one of the most iconic football cards in my lifetime. So these are just looking great. Herm Edwards, who I just got a TTM autograph from him just recently. Yeah, so again, you know, these are really, really sharp, gorgeous cards. And here's the rest. So I'm not going to show every card, but just know that, again, these are some super, super nice looking cards. This is a really nice one right here. Ken O'Brien, Joe Montana passing leaders. And there's a nice Charles Mann. Ronnie Lott. Roger Craig. So yes, some great cards, great looking cards. I'm really excited about this. And this is what I'm really excited about too. These Chicago Bears cards. I love the Bears, and these are taken during their Super Bowl year. Willie Gault rookie. Very happy to be able to upgrade that. Very, very happy to upgrade that. And this is kind of nice. So Walter Payton, record breaker. And then I had the Bears team card with Payton in motion, and it just looked terrible. It was in horrible shape. So again, that's going to be really nice. And these are some of the nicer ones right here. Wilbert Marshall, rookie. Tony Dorsett, Mike Singletary. And then this was the first year with 1,000 yard clubs. And these were the 1,000 yard clubs that I had that were not in great shape. And so these will be a really nice upgrade. And look at that right there. I was shocked when I looked at my Peyton at how beat up it was. So Very, very happy to get those again. Thank you so much, Mike. And then there is one more in here. And this card at the top, this one was, I was debating whether or not to upgrade, only because, you know, this is kind of a nice iconic type card. Reggie White, I was very, you know, I'm very, very thrilled to be able to put this one in the mix. So I have Reggie White's rookie card, and he was my late brother's favorite player of all time. And Reggie is the reason why my family's diehard Chicago Bears had a Packer fan in their midst. And so if you look at this, this just looks like a super nice Reggie White card. Here was mine, and I had no idea how bad a shape this thing was in. And I don't know if the light is doing justice to this, but up here it almost looks like it has some water damage, and it's creased. And the corners are bad. There's a big crease right here as well, and so it was much more beat up than I realized. So that's a huge upgrade right there, and I'm thrilled. You know, that right there is the card that I'm just real excited about. All right, and then we have this as well. Let's see. Hang on, I may be opening it wrong. Okay, here we go. So if I remember right, these ones are, 88, and 88 was a kind of a mixed bag for me. I had some that really needed an upgrade. Other ones were, you know, most of my set was pretty good, but these ones were in pretty rough shape. Vaisek Kahema, local guy from here in Utah. So yeah, so some good ones there. Dennis McKinnon. I needed a lot of Morton Andersons. For some reason, mine were in rough shape. And then if we go here, we've got some 81s. So my 81 set looked really good overall. But when I went through, I did see that there were a handful that were in rough shape. This Ken Anderson record breaker, I just got a TTM from him just the other day. So this is really great to see. Yeah, just better quality cards, nice upgrade. This is a pretty cool one right here. The Kellen Winslow, Dwight Clark receiving leaders. And Jack Youngblood, Hall of Famer. And then we've got the 1984 cards right here. John Riggins, Joe Montana, instant replay. And just to kind of round things out with this, we've got Fred Dean, Dwight Clark. Yeah, so some really, really nice stuff right here. Steve Dills, there we go. So, I can't remember who it was. So one of my viewers totally cracked me up the other day. He mentioned that, you know, as a Vikings fan, they joked that if there was ever a Steve Dills in action, kind of like the instant replay or in action cards, that it would be a picture of Steve Dills tackling a defender who intercepted his pass. And I thought that was hilarious. So, pretty funny stuff. Andre Tippett, that's a nice one right there. Stanley Steam Train Morgan, Todd Christensen, Cliff Branch. Yeah, so just some really awesome cards. Really, really excited to pick these up. So, again, thank you so much, Mike. Real excited about that. And, oh yeah, some of the nicer ones as well right here. So, my Neil Anderson rookie card was actually in pretty poor shape. And James Brooks, who is one of my all-time favorite players, this is his rookie card. It's nice to get that in a better version for sure. Fred Dean, instant replay. Dave Craig, rookie card. And then this, my Walter Payton. Check this out. I was kind of surprised at how bad this was. So my Walter Payton before, oh, look at that, just beat up. So again, this is just a great upgrade for me. Thrilled about that. And last little bit right here. Nice job on the packing, Mike. That's great. Oh. All right. So we've got a 1984 checklist. Don Warren, Johnny Poe, Steve Grogan, Fred Dean, John Dutton, Yellowstone. Love that. That looks really sharp. Oh, cool. Oh, Platinum Game Breakers, Neil Anderson. That's an insert card. That's awesome. And a really sharp-looking Neil Anderson 1989 score. So this is another one of those sets that is condition sensitive for sure. So I'm sure that's going to be an upgrade for me. Oh, that's a nice looking card too. Neil Anderson, Fleer 94. Sweet. Game winners, Pinnacle. I used to love Pinnacle. That's awesome. Pro set Neil Anderson. Oh wow, another Neil Anderson rookie card. Awesome, awesome. Pro Line Portraits Neil Anderson. Fleer Ultra 91. Man, I love 90s era football cards. Those are awesome. And a 1,000-yard rusher. All right, thanks so much, Mike. That's awesome. Yeah, so again, we're looking at, my collection of 1980s Topps football has just been extremely upgraded thanks to my buddy Mike, and I really, really appreciate that. And again, this is a good example to show what taking good care of sports cards can do. He was very mindful of that in the 80s, and that really comes out now all these years later, decades later. And so if anybody is interested, like I said, feel free to reach out in the YouTube comments, or if you have my Instagram, WC34 or something like that. I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, reach out to me if you want, and Mike might even see that in the comments and reach out to you as well. So if you're interested in upgrading or completing a set, feel free to reach out, and I'm sure he'd be happy to help with that. He's a great guy in the community, loves the hobby, loves the community. And Mike, thank you very much. I appreciate all the time and energy and effort you put into finding those cards for me. Just really appreciate that. And again, some great stories. He found some great sets, and that Mean Joe Green alone is just fantastic. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I know this is kind of a long video, but I appreciate you taking the time to stick with me on that. And in the meantime, everybody stay well, and I'll be back with more videos in the near future. Take care, everybody.